Welcome to Bike Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the Bajaj Dominar 400 versus the Mahindra Mojo. Pricing and features. The Dominar 400 ABS retails for 1.68 lakh rupees on road Delhi, which is 22,000 rupees cheaper than the Mahindra Mojo non-ABS costing 1.9 lakh rupees. Dominar gets a slipper clutch and LED headlamp and of course the dual channel ABS which is absent in the Mojo. Dominar 400 is also available without ABS for 1.53 lakh rupees, making it a whopping 37,000 rupees cheaper than the equivalent Mojo. Performance and tractability. The Mojo is powered by the 300cc Lonsin sourced engine, which we must admit is arguably better than whatever Mahindra could have built on their own. It is a few notches better than the Dominar's KTM derived half Indian, half Austrian power plant in terms of refinement and linear power delivery. Both bikes feel just as tractable as each other, with the Mojo's torque being slightly more accessible than the Dominar's. Both bikes feel excessively sound deadened, making them sound like smaller displacement machines. However, the Mojo has a trick up its sleeve. Its twin exhausts come fitted with removable DB killers, which can transform the docile sounding Mojo into one of the best sounding small capacity motorcycles in the country. Reliability and after sales service. Both Bajaj as well as Mahindra two wheelers, which is nothing but the erstwhile kinetic engineering, are known for their questionable track records for product reliability and service support in our country. That being said, Mojo's Chinese powertrain has so far proven to be fairly reliable, which is not surprising given the thumb rule of good engine refinement and smooth gearbox being an accurate indicator of reliability. Bajaj has improved a lot over the past decade, but since the Dominar is the first product to carry a brand new head on the 373cc block, we would advise caution for at least a few months to ensure that there are no deal-breaking problems being reported by the customers on some of our esteemed automotive forums. Fuel efficiency. In our back-to-back tests, the Mojo and the Dominar were more or less equally efficient, with the Dominar being just over 1 kmpl more efficient than the Mojo. Resale and cost of ownership. Thanks to the uncertain future of Mahindra two-wheelers, scarcity of touch points, and a general lack of demand for the Mojo owing to its styling, the Mojo is bound to depreciate steeper than the Dominar post a usage of 5 to 7 years. Overall, the Mojo works out to be 40,000 rupees more expensive than the equivalent Dominar in terms of long-term ownership costs. Handling and ride quality. Both bikes have been set up more for comfort rather than handling. In this regard, the Dominar feels a bit too softly sprung while the Mojo treads middle ground. Dominar feels like a rigid structure supported on a spongy foundation. Its ride is extremely comfortable and it does a fantastic job at isolating the impact from bumps and potholes from reaching the rider's spine while riding over broken surfaces. However, the Dominar exhibits a lot of pitching when you grab the brakes, which can be a bit disconcerting for the rider. None of these bikes were meant to be corner carvers, and they can be a bit of a handful around the bends. Lest we forget, Mojo gets some much needed assistance in the grip department from the super sticky Pirellis offered as standard. Comfort and ergonomics. It does take a while for the rider to get used to the Mojo's ergonomics. It has a long, soft cushioned seat with fairly forward set foot pegs and a slightly tall handlebar position, which feels a little bit like sitting in the cruiser position on a street fighter. It would have felt more natural if the handlebar was slightly lower and the foot pegs were mildly rear set. The Dominar has done a better job with the handlebar foot peg seat triangle. Dominar's huge plastic clad tank and bulbous tank extensions feel quite intimidating at first, but thanks to the riding position, the bike feels much more maneuverable once it starts rolling. However, the Dominar has faltered on the other side, especially with the handlebar position, which is set a bit on the lower side, putting quite a bit of the rider's weight on his palms. Which brings us to the verdict. Mahindra has made a decent first attempt at an aspirational motorcycle, especially that gem of a powertrain which is surprisingly better than what some well-entrenched players in the market have been able to produce. But apart from the powertrain, the bike still feels like a work in progress. Mahindra needs to stop doing things the kinetic way and infuse some fresh blood and new thinking into the way things are done back there. Rational bikers have been patiently waiting for a non-Enfield tourer for decades. These are the people who have shown the most interest in the Mojo. However, Mojo's monopoly has been quite short-lived. Ever since the Pulsar CS400 unexpectedly took the thunder away from its stablemate, the RS200, which was supposed to be Bajaj's star of the show at the Auto Expo 2012. Our netizen bikers have been waiting for the Dominar to hit the showrooms. As a motorcycle, the Dominar is technically much superior to the Mojo. The Dominar is quicker, faster, more agile, more maneuverable, and also has upper shelf cycle parts like the perimeter frame, slipper clutch, ABS, etc. At the end of the day, neither of these are perfect products, but amongst the two, it's the Dominar which gets our vote.